What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Talks with Chepe. This week, we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories. I'm going to give my take on a couple of them, so let's get started. All right, everybody. So this week's episode, I want to start a little bit different, and I'm going to start by saying this. He did not kill himself. Now, you may ask, why am I saying that? Well, it all ties into my conspiracy theories talk, because I'm talking about the one and only Jeffrey Epstein right now. So, for all you who don't know, Jeffrey Epstein is a pedophile who happened to be a billionaire and had a lot of friends in a lot of powerful positions. And lo and behold, he got caught. So, this all starts going back from 1996. He was trafficking underage girls, which is really the way to put it. And he was bringing them to his house and forcing them to massage him. But then he would end up having sex with these girls. Now, it all started in 1996 with these two girls where he would buy them whatever they wanted, bring them back to his house. He paid for their school also, but he was forcing these poor girls to like have sex with him. Now, I'm paraphrasing right now because he did a lot worse things than that. But he had so much money that he had the U.S. government pretty much I'm saying that by the FBI and the local police in his pocket. So when these girls went and complained about it, they said, we'll look into it. And they didn't do anything. So like, what the fuck? If somebody comes to you and says, hey, this fucking creepy ass pedophile is doing shit to me, you would hope the police does something, but they didn't because he has money. And that just builds onto the case of other shit that he did. So after a couple of years, he moved to Palm Beach in Florida. And that's a very wealthy area with a bunch of billionaires go to. And he was doing shady shit there. His neighbors would be like, yo, this guy has a lot of these underage girls coming to his house, leaving at all different hours. And it comes to find that he was getting young girls to recruit other young girls to come to his house so that he can pretty much have sex with them and then pay them for doing it. And he was doing it for a couple of years, believe it or not. And the fucking police knew and they didn't do anything because he was making substantial donations to the police department. It got to the point that the police chief was getting so frustrated that nobody was doing anything because of unfortunately, how powerful this man is. And it gets even worse because he had an island called Epstein Island in the U.S. Virgin Islands where he owned. And he would have these high profile people come to his island and like allegedly, because this is what it's going by, obviously, that they would have sex with these underage girls. And I'm talking about some big names. Like he was friends with Trump. He was friends with the Clintons. Prince Andrew hung out with him. And the list goes high people that were in banking, and the list goes on and on. Like these are some powerful people. And he had video on everyone. So, these powerful politicians, they don't want that to get out. You're going to jail for doing what you're doing. So eventually he gets caught and he goes to jail. Now, this is where it starts getting a little bit, hey, like what's going on here? I'm sure we all heard in the news that while he was in jail, he got killed. Say he got killed because people say he hung himself, but he didn't. He got killed. And you had to look at all the evidence of what happened. So it starts off by saying, first of all, the fucking security cameras that are watching him happily that day don't work. They just stop working. Then the two security guards that are watching his area, like his cell area, they fall asleep. I repeat, they fall asleep like that. And then when they wake up and they go find him, he's hanging. He hung himself. Like, come on. Like, bruh. Like, damn well he didn't kill himself. And then to make matters worse, all of these videos and stuff that he had on his computer go missing. Nobody knows where they are. Apparently, they were under police, like they were in the police wherever they fucking keep their shit archives, and they just happen to be gone. Like, how do you lose that important information? And now it's even getting more interesting because this happened, I want to say about this within this recent week. His partner, I think I can't pronounce her name, some fucking foreign ass name. I think it's Giselle Maxwell. She was his like right hand gal and was doing pretty much raping these girls with him. She's now arrested and she's getting tried, but the fucking judge who was given the case, out of nowhere, some FedEx driver goes to her house and kills her son and shoots her husband. Like, come on. Like, are we even at this point? Are you even trying to like hide the fact that they're obviously conspiring to hide the information from getting out? Like, come on. I can do a fucking better job. I'm gonna go fucking go to some give me a fucking bike lock. I'll fucking keep that shit hidden better than they are. Like, they're fucking out here showing, oh yeah, well listen, this guy raped these people, but we're gonna do everything possible to hide it. Like, give me a break. Like really? But that's conspiracy. The other one that I wanted to talk about, which was part of the poll that I did last week, and I can't believe people actually still believe it, is that the earth is flat. Now, I've heard my fair share of arguments of why the earth is flat. And as the great Neil deGrasse Tyson says, you never want to argue with those type of peoples because their ignorance is pretty much they're never going to change their mind. I don't understand how in 2020 you still believe the earth is flat, but they do. And you know what? It's not one of those things that's so far fetched. You're just like, really? You think the earth is flat? Like, come on. Like, we went to the fucking moon. You're going to try to tell me NASA, the Chinese government, the Russian government, all these people faked going to the moon and looking at Earth and taking pictures of it? Like, the Earth is obviously a fucking sphere, an oblique sphere. I want to get that wrong. But people are saying that it's shaped like a disc, that there's an ice wall around it, like fucking we're in Game of Thrones or something. Winter's coming. And that's our barrier, and we can't get past that. And they use the argument of, oh, well, airplanes don't fly over Antarctica because it's the government stopping us from realizing that the fucking Earth is flat. No, Stunad. The reason why we don't fly over Antarctica is because there's no ozone there, and the magnetic forces cause interruptions over the airplanes. Like, that's basic science. And then you have these people who are celebrities saying like, oh, well, the earth is flat. Like fucking Tila Tequila, which I don't know if you ever listened to this fucking girl, who I would ever take advice from her or believe anything she says is beyond me, says an evidence of why the earth is flat is because why the earth is not a sphere, I'm sorry, is because when airplanes go to land, they're able to stop. If the earth was a sphere, they would keep going. Like, come on. You got to be trolling me at that point. Really? That's your basis of your argument? Because an airplane stops, the earth is flat? Bruh. Just fucking open up a physics book. They teach you this shit in, at least for me, and it was in 11th grade. Not even. In fucking elementary school, you learned earth is round. Realistically, if you believe this, I just think we failed you as a child. When you were a child, I mean. Obviously, the education system didn't do anything for you. I'm surprised you're even able to fucking wake up and take a shower. Now, people might say the next one I'm talking about is so far-fetched, but let me tell you something, it's not. And it's actually my favorite one to argue with people. Not argue, but to have a conversation. And it's that there are aliens out there. Now, for you to think that we're the only intelligent life form in this entire universe, this expanding universe, you're an idiot. There has to be something else out there. Like, we can't be the only living things out there. Come on. And there's been things that we've seen here that the government has been keeping a secret from us, and now they're confirming everything. Area 51, that was the longest secret for the longest time, but they finally confirmed that it exists. And then I want to say within the last year, the military finally released a video of that fighter pilot who had the encounter with the UFO. Now, it doesn't mean that that UFO was alien, but the way that it was moving and the laws of physics that it was obeying aren't ours. So that has to be from something. And if that's a human being flying that aircraft, shit, we got some futuristic shit coming out soon. But not from what I saw. No way. And you can go on YouTube and look it up. Not crazy. My mother had me tested. And then there's other people who talk about it. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the Netflix documentary that was made by Bob Lazar. So Bob Lazar is a scientist who worked in the Alamos laboratory in jet propulsion, and he was reverse engineering an alien spacecraft that he was working on. And I tell people to go listen to the Joe Rogan interview he did because it's probably one of the best ones, and he actually goes into details and everything. And he used to work there, and he claims that he was working on this alien spacecraft, and he was working on these things that didn't exist at the time. There was an element that I don't know the exact element off the top of my head, um, but the element that he was working with didn't exist at the time, and now it exists. And he was working on this during the 1970s. Also, he was saying about the technology of the jets that they had also wasn't available at that time, and we were limited to technology. Fast forward now to 2020, we have it. So he's saying that they reverse engineered everything to our technology today, which I don't doubt it. Shit. Aliens has been going back since World War II. There's claims that the Nazis were using alien technology to reverse engineer their jets and everything. So who knows? I think that's true. And then it gets even crazier is because the US government literally erased this man from the face of the earth. They got rid of his social security number, they got rid of his ID, all his records, everything gone. But they didn't do a good job though, because they were able to find a document showing of the university that he went to and the lab that he worked in where he was doing this. And they have all the login logs where you sign in, and people who work there can vouch and confirm that he worked there. And on a documentary, he just walks into the facility because they know who he is. So obviously, somebody who's worked in a top secret area like that isn't just going to walk in. They obviously have had to work there. So the U.S. government, step up your security. You guys can secure us with a lot of shit, but obviously now with these stupid ass conspiracies, well, they're not stupid. The flat Earth one's stupid. The Epstein one is real, and the alien one's real. That's my take. But like, back to the point, like these conspiracies, man, they can really get you thinking. What else are they lying about? Did JFK, were there 2 shooters in the grassy knoll? I don't know. I don't think there was. I don't think it's that hard of a shot to make. I mean, I'm not a professional shooter, but from what they say, is the Earth hollow? Most likely not. It's another one of those dumb conspiracies. Is there a secret society like the Freemasons? Yeah, there is. If you live anywhere in the east end of Long Island, there's a Masonic temple not that far down the road. It's actually somewhere in West Hampton, I believe. And if they hear this podcast, I'm just stating facts. I have nothing against you. Don't come for me. But there's a whole bunch of crazy conspiracy out there, and I would love to get more from you guys. I know some of you did participate in the poll, and I appreciate that. There were certain ones that were given to me that I didn't really want to touch on because of due to the nature of the conspiracy. Those who participated know which ones I'm talking about, but I do appreciate you from participating. I again want to say thank you for listening. I do want to announce this. So, for the first time next week, we are going to have a guest on the show. And not just anybody. It's going to be the CEO of Dead Sweet. And they are a up-and-coming clothing brand. And we're going to talk about, why they got into it and different things, have a fun conversation. So stay tuned for next week's episode. I will be promoting it, obviously. And if you want any of the, if you want to see me try to get more people on and and hear what you guys want to hear about, just let me know. You can find me on, like I said, you can find me on YouTube at Talks with Chepe. Follow me on Instagram at Talks with Chepe. Tweet me, DM me on Twitter at The Real Don Chepe. And on Facebook, it's just my name. So you know where to find me, people. I'm out there. So thanks again for listening. You got to the end. You got a sweet surprise with the announcement of my next week's guest. So I look forward to you guys hearing next week's episode, and I hope you guys like this week's. So thanks again for everything. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Stay safe out there. The world's crazy. COVID-19. Wear a mask. And be safe, everybody. Much love.